And it's on. Oh, and it's loud. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
Outstanding. Only a couple wildcats in here. We're an endangered species, clearly. Stick together. We can resist. By a show of hands. Well, first of all, I want to say, Kenny, thank you. That's one of the better introductions I've ever had, especially up here in Phoenix. Appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Arizona Summer Food.gov. Arizona Summer. I got to get it right. It's on the lanyard. I've been reading it for an hour at least. So thank you very much for having me. Also, my wonderful friend Pat Johnson from the Arizona Dairy Council of Arizona. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've just been having a great time. This is probably my fourth or fifth appearance at the request of Pat, and I enjoy it more every time, and I feel like the impact is greater every time I get an opportunity to talk to people. And in this instance, I'm lucky because you're all over the age of 9. So typically they say, don't talk for more than 4 minutes. They don't have the attention span. So I know with you, I'll at least get 7 minutes or so. You guys can give me that 7, I might even double that. But thanks again for having me. Nutrition and health and wellness are things that I'm really very excited about, and I'll tell you why if you'll answer a question for me. By a show of hands, how many of you here have children and grandchildren? Okay, those of you willing to keep your hands up please. How many of you would say that it's the easiest job you've ever had raising them? Oh, a couple of liars out there. I like it. Well, it's not easy raising kids. I have 4 of them. You know, I heard somebody groan. That was me this morning. Every morning I wake up in a shock. Oh my God, I have 4 kids? What was I thinking? And they're challenging, right? They're so smart now. They have access to so much information. You know, they're light years at 12 years old where I was when I was 12 years old. They know more about music and media and things that are going on in Hollywood and government and everything of that nature because the media is so much bigger. So our challenges as parents continue to grow. Children feel like they have a stronger voice and they're not afraid to use it. I know my kids aren't. And they challenge me every time I turn around. And I'm a stickler on nutrition, except when they go to their grandparents. Tell my in-laws, you can give them cake, candy, and ice cream, all they want. I want them to be happy to see their grandparents. Because when they get home, they're going to eat their greens. They're going to eat well. And I will give them treats. I'm not as bad as I might sound right now. But I know that I could never have played for 11 years in the NFL, 5 years of college, 4 years of high school, and the 4 years previous to that if I had abused my body by putting bad energy into it. Bad food. In order to play at a world-class athlete level, you've got to take care of the machine that gets you there. You know, they're not over at NASCAR just kind of pumping any old fuel into the tank, right? It's like, it's just a car. It doesn't matter. Just put anything in there. Put some STP in on top. No, they're really very concerned about how the machine runs because they want to get the most out of it. Now, it's not just for athletics. I mean, how many of you in here, by a show of hands, have skipped a meal, you're well into your work day, and all of a sudden you got that feeling you just can't concentrate. You can't stay on task. You're not sure what you're supposed to be trying to accomplish. You forget, there's that conference call at 2, or there's that meeting at 3. How did I space it? You spaced it because you didn't give your body the appropriate uptake. Now, if I was going to go to the weight room and bench press or squat or clean a lot of weight, I certainly wouldn't skip a meal. And if you're going to go in and learn, if you're going to study history, or if you've got a big meeting with the Dairy Council or ArizonaSummerFood.gov, you've got to be on top of your game. Not just because it's your job, but because you want to advance the program. I can't go out on the field and be a bad football player. Number one, I won't last long. Number two, you're going to lose football games. By a show of hands, who likes to lose a game? Yeah, I didn't think so. So, the reason I'm talking about this is there's challenges. The kids are smarter. Our work is harder. There's so much information available on the internet. There's so much to know about nutrition. I mean, there's so much that we've uncovered and learned and have access to beyond just 10 years ago. Beyond 20 years ago for sure. And 30 years ago they had no idea what we know now. But how many people are using those informational tools to do the right thing by the children? Well, I'm looking at a handful of tables in here right now. And you have a daunting task. Just as anytime you look at your favorite team and you think, man, everybody said they should have beat those guys. Well, how could they lose? How could they have lost that game? Because every game is hard. Because winning a football game is not easy. Volleyball game, track meet, sprint, A on a test. None of it's easy. I don't care how much you're supposed to have won. You don't prepare, you don't play right, you always have the opportunity to lose. I always tell my kids, I tell everybody, you have a great chance to lose. You got every chance to lose, but you don't want to prepare for that. You want to prepare to win. That's what Kenny was talking about. That's what Nick was talking about. You guys have a great resource, a great opportunity. This program for the state of Arizona is something that every family and every child should really dig into. No pun intended. But it's there. But the kids are smart, or they're lazy, or they're hard to reach, or they're hard to connect with. I get that. I got 4 of them. And every day I marvel at how quickly they think they can outwit me. I have very few duties for my kids. One of them is empty the dishwasher. I don't even make them do the dishes. They just get to empty the dishwasher. But they will debate me on it. Well, I want to do it later. Well, I want to do it after this. Well, right now I'm doing this. And I say, as of now, you could have already had half of it done. And by the end of this discussion, you will still do the dishwasher right now. So dig in and do it. But I gotta take a deep breath and rethink my plan all the time for connecting with them, because they're smart. But you know what you have to offer them is so valuable and so important, but they can't see that. They can't see it. We're old, or we're dumb, or we're not with it, we're not cool. It's not the cool place to be. And that's the challenge, right? How exciting can you make your program? At your church, at your school, at your park, what can you do? I don't know if doing the quarter eagles like I saw you guys out there doing is going to work. You might have to go a little bit beyond that. But you're going to come up with competitions and games and things of that nature. Is it going to work every time? No. There's some weeks going to be very strong, some days very strong, and others there's a drop-off. You're going to have those challenges. And I had them 65 times in one football game. Every time on the snap of the ball was another challenge. Something didn't work, the guy behind me paid for it. So I had to constantly consider what was happening in front of me and redirect and rethink my approach. So you guys have resources here. These programs are great. There isn't anybody in here who would say, this is a terrible program, it's a bad idea, it's a bad program, and I don't want anything to do with it. You wouldn't, if you're here, you don't think that. But that's just the easy part. Showing up here, that's the easy part. It's just like, hey, I can show up for training camp, but if I didn't lift weights, take care of my body in the off season, what good was I going to be at training camp? How good am I going to be on the field of play? I'm not. So this is the easy part. We had a great meal here. Healthy meal, great options. Now, how can you get those kids to show up for that meal? And when they don't one day, everybody goes through the, oh man, this is hard. This isn't